As I've been trying to write this video for the last foreseeable few weeks, I've been sifting through limited amounts of personal anecdotes and responsible answers. I'm here to tell you I did all the work and I still don't know if it's enough because people seem to not really have all that much to say about how to survive a recession. The short answer as to why is because the only people who truly do well during recessions are the wealthy. Long answer, well, the long answer, I didn't make that's not what this video is about. And so I didn't come prepared with it. Hey, how's it going? I'm Cam Hayden, and today we're going to be spending time learning how to survive a recession. While all of the information I have gathered has taught me so many things, very random things about recessions, like how they function, how they've shown up, how they happen, why they're repetitive. I'm pretty sure Marx talks about the idea that recessions are going to continue to happen. And the thing that I did learn is that recessions aren't as bad as like people give them credit for being. Like, don't get me wrong, they're bad. They're bad. And also on a side tangent, recessions somehow affect the world on a global scale if they are done in the US. Also, countries go through recessions quite often. On any given general basis, a country might go through as many as 3 recessions a year,
Bro,
and
it's
that's like
spiraling.
normal. But
Please
I
get
guess
back on
we
subject.
don't
Get
experience
back on
them
subject.
at the same rate
Come on.
as
Come
other
on.
countries
Lock in.
because we are
Chat.
America.
Chat.
So
Tell
if
them
you're
to lock
listening to
in.
this from
Chat.
America, you will better understand. Anyways, we are going to move into today's video by starting with what is a recession and when was the last time we had one. So what is a recession? A recession is a period when the economy slows down, causing businesses and people to struggle. During a recession, companies make less money, so they may cut jobs or stop hiring, leading to higher unemployment. People spend less because they're worried about their income, which hurts businesses even more. Key signs include 2 straight quarters of shrinking GDP, the total value of goods and services produced, falling wages, and declining stock markets. Recessions can happen due to high interest rates, financial crisis, or sudden economic shocks. Governments and central banks try to fight recessions by cutting taxes, increasing spending, or lowering interest rates to boost the economy. When was the last recession? Well, in 2008, a housing bubble when home prices soared unrealistically, burst because banks gave risky subprime mortgages to people who couldn't afford them. When homeowners defaulted, banks lost billions, triggering a financial crisis. Major banks collapsed like the Lehman Brothers, stock markets crashed, and businesses froze hiring. Unemployment spiked to 10%. Millions lost homes, and the economy shrank for 18 months. Okay, I understand. The meat and the bones, the potatoes are useless. You want to know, how do I survive a recession? And that's what this video is about, and that's what I'm here to tell you. I've come up with 5 concrete ideas that can better help you survive or thrive in a recession. Number 1, build community. This can be a group of friends or simply those who live around you. Offer neighbors help with tasks you may be more skilled at. Spend time getting to know the people who live around you. Host potlucks, ask for help when you need it, and offer rides if you can. The goal with building community isn't to overextend yourself by any means, but to cultivate a support system that allows you and those around you to feel more well supported. Number 2, join an organization. This probably isn't much of a surprise, but in recessions, a lot of people find themselves low on work and with an excess of time on their hands. Joining an org is likely to take away a lot of the boredom that is likely to occur after having so much free time. But it can also be a healthy addition of the socialization that you'll crave as a result of, well, you not having as much interaction with the general public because you don't have work. Depending on the org, you may also find yourself in the position of getting free food or services you may need, discounted services, or just finding an easier approach to finding community. It also helps that free stuff might be involved too. As an example to this, I volunteer with Food Not Bombs. I haven't as much recently, I've been too busy. But on a general basis, I like to volunteer with Food Not Bombs. Food Not Bombs is a mutual aid. supports feeding the homeless. That's essentially all that we do. We feed the homeless. We make meals for the homeless in Skid Row in Los Angeles. We come together, we make food, and on occasion, there is an abundance of just fresh vegetables grown by the local farmers market. So not only is the free thing that I'm getting free, it's also better for me than the thing that I might be able to find and pay top dollar for at the grocery store. Number three, I don't really have experience with this, but I have learned through my research that this is one of the better ways to go about things. Grow your own herbs and vegetables. So, this is one of those things that might require a little more effort. Maybe you have a patio you only partially use and you want to fill the space. Maybe your neighborhood is open to letting you create a community garden. Maybe you don't have access to either, but you have enough room to build a hydroponic grower. Whatever the case may be, if you can find a way to make it work, grow even a small portion of your shopping list, you'll find yourself with a new hobby and food, which I feel like is a win win. Number four, buy in bulk and have canned goods. So I've seen this in a number of places that the idea is to buy in bulk because prices will obviously go from one end of the spectrum to the other, and your hope is that you get somewhere in the middle. If you are going to the grocery store on a constant basis, the likelihood is that you won't be able to properly budget for such an occasion. So instead, I would opt that you spend the time, buy what you need, learn to live off of a relatively easy to navigate grocery list, and don't neglect keeping variety, but also make room for the idea that if you buy in bulk, eat that bulk that you've bought in. And the canned goods are also a part of this. You need non perishable items so that they last longer, because depending on how long the recession may last, this fluctuation in grocery prices is going to leave you with a bit of a pain in your budgeting system or just your finances as a whole. And while you can't budget your way out of poverty, it is a lot more gentle to have a system in place that allows you to not feel so heavily hit by a recession. And finally, number five, find a recession proof job. This is something that I'm saying with like a lot of hesitancy because I am somebody who did make a video talking about how the job market is absolutely garbage. And as somebody who is currently back in the job market, I can tell you once again, the job market is so bad. But look for a recession proof job. I feel like this is self explanatory, but just to make it easier, not only will I say this, which is basically just saying find a good, stable job, we know, but I'll add some jobs I think are pretty recession proof. Okay, so here's a list of recession proof jobs. We are speeding through this list because it doesn't need much explanation. So, without further ado, healthcare, nurses, doctors, lab technicians, nursing homes, and more. Anything in healthcare is going to be a safe bet because it's a privatized industry and because it is something that is heavily financially benefited off of, but also people will always need healthcare. Grocery stores. If 2020 taught us anything, it's that the one thing we won't be getting rid of anytime soon is the massive need for grocery store employees. While not ideal, it is a place, that won't be out of work anytime soon. I have my qualms with grocery stores, and I do plan on making a video about the lacking evolution of American grocery stores or grocery store shopping experiences as a whole. But moving on, government jobs. To be specific, you're going to want to pick the ones that kind of either look worth privatizing or that are simply too difficult to do away with, like the IRS, city maintenance, and electrical services. I say this knowing that we are fully in the Trump administration and that there are cuts going left and right all over the place. But hear me out. A government job is going to be one of the safest jobs you can acquire if you can acquire the right kind of government job. I know that's loose. That's not really an answer, and I feel so bad. I'm sorry. I don't have like I said. There's a lot of nuance to this. It's you get these answers were without Trump involved. Nobody really has an answer about with Trump involved. And anyways, Honorary mentions these are like the things that are on the list, but instead it's the privatized version. So plumbing, electrical work, HVAC, gas, internet, nursing, and not included above, but very community dependent service industry work, specifically bartending and barista work. I know what you're saying. Why would I be a bartender if nobody has any money? Why would I be a barista if nobody has any money? People with less time getting audited to work are still just going to be looking for something. And I'm going to even be more specific about this. I personally believe that maybe bar culture is going to die down. Bar culture seems like it's not a prevalent thing within Gen Z. But I think that party culture is going to have a bit of a revamp. Home party culture, low key spaces, people still want to interact with one another, but they want to do it in a way that feels different and feels more cost effective. I think personal bartenders being the friend who knows how to bartend, maybe you work at a bar and you have regulars and they come in and they are the ones telling you, hey, we need a bartender for this thing. Or maybe you have friends who just want to start throwing parties. Maybe you know somebody in your local area that's just interested in throwing parties. This is the easiest way to just start becoming a bartender under the table, which means your money's not being watched. Because if everybody's just going to pay you cash, or if everybody's just going to sell you, what are they going to do? You can start your own like personal business about this. Like, there's so much to this that I didn't want to have a whole video space breaking it down. So, as a person who's been a bartender for so long, I'm fully aware of like the things that we can do now with like the association with like the way that even though bartending is going down, if you are a really good bartender, or if you're just a fun person to have around who's good behind the bar, easy, light work. Oh my god. And for the barista, every even if people don't have jobs, they're going to want to spend time somewhere, and they're probably going to want to spend time at their favorite coffee shop. That goes without saying. In 2008 it happened, and the likelihood that it'll continue to happen is not far from belief. I was talking the whole time. I was talking the whole time, and my tea was gonna get cold. Anyways, so like I said at the beginning of the video, preparing for a recession is a very difficult thing. It requires a lot of knowledge of the economy, a lot of knowledge of your way of existing in the world already. It requires the understanding that Americans have been conditioned to expect commodities at a certain rate, and that you are probably going to not have those commodities at that same rate, and you will have to sort that with yourself. That is like one of the biggest issues. But the other half of this is that telling you how to prepare for a recession is harder when we don't know when the recession will come. It is never really a question of if a recession will come to America, because under the system of capitalism, recessions are just a part of the system. They are sort of like a factory reset, and that is just what they are. But anyways, if you like today's video, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know if you have any more suggestions about what to do in preparation for a recession, or if you just have more comments about things about like how people can get involved in community orgs, or like a mutual aid, or like the one that I work with, or anything like that.